Farm Kenya, brought to you by Fugo.
Shiba, Utashiba, Fugo Calf Starter Pellets, Calf Grow Pencils, Heifer Grow, Dairy Milk Plus, and Maxi Milk Plus, products of Unga Farm Care.
Utashiba, Utashiba.
Profite na ng'ombe wako.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea stakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Hello there, this is Farm Kenya right here on KTN, and today we'll be talking about chicken farming. We'll be looking at ways in which you can raise your Kienyeji improved chicken, and we'll be getting some insights, and we'll be talking to George Kimani, who is a doctor and also a chicken farmer. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Kelvin.
All right, so let us look at the journey of how you started. What motivated you to start this particular type of farming?
One of the things that made us to start this is because of the political temperatures that were there during those times. The increased taxes that people are being charged, left, right, and center. So we thought it would be better to start an income that is not tax intensive, or something that is not going to attract tax from government.
All right, and when did you start? Which year was this?
We started this farm here in 2022,
Okay.
just during COVID. That time, most of the people are working from home, and we thought of something that we can be doing on the side, that we'd want to be visiting there once in a while and see how things are going.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at an improved Kienyeji chicken structure like this one that you have, what goes into it, and what, in terms of maybe money, what went into putting up this structure? Because it's not a small one, so you can just give us a breakdown.
Well, this structure, it's quite a huge one. One of the things that you need to consider is the ventilation of the area. You need to have consider security issues. You can see we are just next to the road. Ventilation of the area, like I have mentioned, is also very critical. The raising of the ground level is also very important. The aeration of the area, very critical. So in putting up such a kind of a structure, originally they were not chickens. I was doing cow keeping. I was keeping cows.
Okay.
Then I realized that this area is not doing so well in terms of dairy milk and all that. So we shifted them somewhere else and started rearing chicken from 2022. Roughly, this place to set up costed roughly about 300,000 in terms of the structure, the metal, the reels, the labor of the fully, the stones, basically everything that includes putting up a structure in place.
Okay. All right. And when it comes to when now you're starting to rear the chicken here, what is the management practice? How do you make sure that you clean it? And I believe there's a time that you'd want maybe to clean the area, clean the walls, remove the dirt. What goes into that?
First of all, you need to consider the hygiene of it. Usually we collect our litter every 2 months once. We collect our litter once every 2 months. You need to consider the biosecurity of this place. Like you have seen, you have a place where we dip our foot when you're getting in and we're getting outside. That is very, very critical in terms of our biosecurity, to avoid infections of diseases that are coming either from outside or even from the inside to outside, whether they are viral bacteria, kinds of diseases, because these birds usually are very, very risky with the diseases. They can easily attract diseases. The other thing we also look into is terms of vaccine and vaccinations of this area and these birds, which is very, very important at the period when they are still very young. Make sure that your birds are well vaccinated. Various diseases like coccidiosis, Newcastle diseases, Gumboro, Marek. We have other diseases that we also, viral diseases and bacterial diseases that we also make sure that all your birds are well vaccinated. And of course, the other thing is feeding of the birds. They make sure that they are all fed properly. If you look at our feeds, we are working with a very credible organization that is supplying us with the feeds, of course, at a good cost. We can't complain about it.
Okay. All right. And before we get to the feeds, let me take you back a bit and look at the, before they become as grown as they are, they were chicks at once.
Yes.
So where do you usually source your chicks? What motivated the requirements for you to say, okay, this is what I want? The requirements that you were looking at, was it in terms of the place, in terms of what went into that?
One of the factors that you need to consider when you're starting this business is your source of birds. Where will you be getting from? We get our birds, all of them, even from the other hatches, all of them we get from Kienyeji.
Okay.
So we are sure that by the time we are getting them from there, they are well vaccinated from Marek, they are well vaccinated from Newcastle, they are well vaccinated from Gumboro on day one. So when they come here, we take up the responsibility of making sure that they are all vaccinated. At day 7, we vaccinate them. At day 12 to 14, we vaccinate them. We give them Newcastle, Gumboro. We repeat the same vaccine that they were given before they came here. At day 21, at day 28, we make sure that they are fully vaccinated. If you look at this flocks here, there were 1,200 here.
Wow.
But we have most of our clients, they come and pick them at day 3, day 5, day 7, and we sell them.
Okay.
But the moment they get to 1 month, we don't sell them, because much of the vaccines and the medication they need to have been given already have been given. So it will be expensive. It will be a loss for us to sell them after 1 month.
Okay.
So we sell them below 1 month, we dispose them. Right now here we have about 400. So that tells we have already sold about 800 of them.
Okay.
But we have some more that are still breeding here up. And so far so good. You can't complain.
All right. And you've mentioned 1 month. After 1 month, you don't usually sell.
Yes.
So the ones that you remain with after 1 month, when you're disposing them, so what happens? Do you sell them? What happens? Or you?
Yeah, that's a good question. These birds, they are going to be 3 months on the 22nd of this month. I think you see that today or tomorrow.
Yes.
They're going to be 3 months. So by the time they are 3 months and a half, most of our suppliers are majorly the hotels around. Those are our clients, those are our customers. They'll come and pick them up. By the time even they start producing an egg, they already sold out. In the event they start selling eggs, we don't sell them again, because we need to have a return on investment. Another way of getting money back through the eggs, and we produce them. You might have seen, maybe we have just a few of them that are remaining, that when they started laying eggs, we stopped selling them up.
Okay.
But all of these will all be sold out in just a few weeks.
Okay. That's good news. So you mentioned about the feeds and the type of feeds that you use. You can just mention it to us and tell us what Unga is doing in order for it to make sure that at least this is available to you, and also how important is the feed compared to others that you've been using maybe before? Yeah, before
I settled on the Unga feeds, I had tried 2 before. And luckily I settled on Unga feeds. One is because of the cost. The nutritional value of those feeds is also very high. We took some samples and we are able to verify that. So the nutritional level is very high in terms of even those feeds themselves adding medicinal value to the birds. So you experience less mortality rates of your birds because of the feed you're giving them. Again, we don't mix the feeds that you are giving them. So what we do with Unga, at the beginning of every cycle, which we do every 4 months. So we have 3 cycles of birds in every year. So these are birds that we procured in January 22nd. So we are going to be procuring more birds in April, May there. So what we do, we buy the feeds for the entire season from day one to the point where they stop laying, they start laying. So that tells you we buy the chick mash, we buy the growers, and we buy the layers. So I'm able to know the production cost that I've invested for these birds, and I'm able to project the returns I'm going to get by the time these birds, all of them are being sold out. And the cycle continues. So I'm able to, by the end of April, I'll be getting new birds. I'll get in touch with Unga. They'll bring me a number of chicks, chick feeds, certain number of grower feeds and layers. So they all bring them here and they restock them for us for the season.
Okay.
Like you may have seen, maybe we have a few birds that are remaining inside here, all of them from Unga.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So in a season, the way you've mentioned, how many bugs do you usually get? And is there a time when maybe the amount you had anticipated gets finished before the season ends?
Yes. Like this, we started with, this area had only 1,200 birds.
Yes.
So we reached out to Unga. They brought us about 30 bags of chick mash. Those are birds between 1 day and maybe 21 to 1 month old. Then from there, introduce them to growers. They brought us another 30 bags, and layers maybe another 20 bags. So I'm able to know the cost of production, and I'm able to calculate my return on investments. So those are some of the calculations you have to make. The advantage with this is that you're not working around with 400 birds. We have already sold out about 800. That tells you we have more feed that we need for the birds. And that is why we are able to procure some more birds here, because you still have some feeds that are left for young ones. That is the chick mash. So we are able to complement. So most likely, you're able to take these feeds to the next season because you're able to sell more during the first season.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So let us look at poultry farming. Let us look at the improved Kienyeji type of poultry farming and look at it in the country, in Kenya right now. When you look at it, because you have been doing it since 2022 until now, what do you think are some of the things that maybe farmers are missing in terms of getting to the market and in terms of making sure that what they started with is what their returns are balancing with what they started with?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to identify where you're going to be getting your birds. I mean, if you get it wrong from the beginning, you'll get it wrong all the way around. Get your birds from a credible source. You are sure that those birds are fully vaccinated, all the way from day one. Make sure that you have the right feeds to feed your birds. Don't mix feeds. You're buying this from this company and then this one from this company, then you're bringing them to the same birds. It's going to bring some problems within your flock. What we do is that all the food that they have been eating across here, they are from one organization, one company. And not because we are able to afford, but because we are able to complement. Usually these birds, they eat the feed they are eating right now in the morning and in the afternoon or in the evening. During the daytime like now, they take veggies. You can give them some cabbages, complement them with some greens. I think it just happened to be a lucky day for them. We don't have more cabbages.
Yes. Okay, so also in terms of getting to the market, how did you start? Because you've said there are hotels around, there are people that usually know when it's time, they know you are available to at least provide for them. So how did you get a breakthrough in the market?
Yeah, before you start this business, you need to do a mapping or a good market analysis. Who are going to be your clients? Do you have available farmers to buy the young chicks? The location of the area, you need to consider it quite very well. You cannot take this business in a town, so you have to go to the farmers. Be close to the farmers who can buy them. the geographical areas in terms of the water that is needed for them. Just make sure that all the hygienes are there. So the market is very important. So before even we could get into this business, we identified some key areas that we would want to supply our flock to. So able to visit a few hotels and talk to them, some few schools, some few colleges, and they were able to give us a deal. Of course, they start with the teachers, they want to be eating chickens every Friday. It goes all the way to maybe you hear some leaders in the school they are complimented. Even before you start even supporting, supplying chicken and eggs to the institutions of higher learning, to the sometimes churches, especially when they're having events like conferences or youth camps. We give them chickens. We supply them even with eggs. So market analysis is very important. Survey the area properly. The geographical, where you are locating your business, is very important. Social amenities are very critical and very important. Maybe you need to have, make sure you have available water, social services. Maybe it is there's a nearby playground or a hospital where people come or visit frequently. So that you don't even have to market yourself. The business itself, because of the location, is able to market itself.
Okay. Yeah. And when you look at the seasons, because you said you, as a farmer, in a year, you have 3 seasons, right?
Yes.
So among the 3 seasons that you have in a year, which one is your most favorite, where you know the chicken will go?
Of course, our favorite are the season that we have just come from, the Easter season.
Okay.
So we make sure that we have our birds by the beginning of the month, of the year, January. So this year we are a bit late, but make sure that you have birds by beginning of January. By the time they're getting to April, they are grown-up birds. So you are marketing them, you are selling them. This season we have, so far, like this season, over the first 3 days, we have sold about only 400 birds. That is low than normally how we have been able to sell it previously. Our next season is during, of course, Christmas. It's a very good season. And of course, I think it's because of the holidays and all that. Our other season that we have always looked for is the season on the Ramadan season, the Eid al-Fitr. That has been a good season, but doesn't work here. I know it works in other places, but in this area, because of the dominance of one religion, it doesn't work here. But in our other farms, it's a very good business. Yes.
All right. And now, finally, before we go for a break, when you look at the future of this kind of farming, what would you tell a farmer, a young person who's out there, and they want to venture into this?
Now, that's what I want to tell the young farmers who are coming up. Life is not going to be easier anymore. Things are becoming harder and tough. The rumors and the discussions around the increase of taxes is not going to go down. It's still going to go up. Come what, come whichever government is going to come, taxes will still go up. If you're in a position to start a business that is attracting less taxes, please go for it. If it is a side hustle, please go for a business that is attracting less taxes from government. In this kind of a business, the only thing you need is a license of the business that you're doing. And if you're in your own farm, you don't need it. Yeah? So those are some of the advantages of starting this kind of business. No one will come for taxes. There was a time they were trying to threaten they are going to be coming for taxes. We are still following up on that debate, but no one comes and collects it from anyone. So it complements what, if we are employed, what is being taken away by all these government taxes that they are collecting. And this business is able to complement that which was taken away from you. It's able to help you move, do other things on the side without worry. And again, it's fun. When you come to this farm here, like I've come just from work, I come and walk around, I see all the different colors of these birds. You know, it makes me happy. It motivates me. It encourages me. I feel good when I hold a bird and it's in good health. I mean, these are things that God has entrusted me in the season.
And of course, you know the returns that they are going to give you.
Yeah.
All right, we just have to go for a short break. Thank you so much for sharing with us your insights.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to have an expert who is going to be just giving us a perspective of improved Kienyeji farming and what this means for Kenyan farmers. Don't go too far. We'll be back.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
You are watching Farm Kenya, brought to you by Fugo.
Lea wako wakishiba na Fugo, utashiba na mayai from Shell, Yellow York. Broiler wako wakishiba na Fugo, utaona mazao in 35 days.
Akishiba, utashiba. Fugo layer feed, Fugo Kienyeji feed, and broiler 2-stage and 3-stage diet. Products of Unga Farm Care.
Kwa majina naitwa Nancy. Mimi nimetoka Meru, Kikumene. Nimefurahi siku ya leo watu wandakamili kufika hapa Meru. Na kwanza nimefurahi sana nikisikia mimi ndio wa kwanza na tunawakaribisha Meru. Nimeshinda 100,000 na sikuwa nimetarajia, lakini ninaambia Mungu asante sababu nitawekeza kwa kazi zangu. Mimi ni mwanabiashara na ile itabaki nitafanya nayo maneno ingine. Kwa hivyo ninashukuru sana. Ninaomba watu wajue hiyo mchezo ni ya ukweli na waendelee kucheza na pia mimi nitaendelea kucheza.
Nenda kwenye paybill 440 account KTN amount shilingi 20 hadi shilingi 2,000 and get your cash direct to your M-Pesa. Cheza Daka.
Over 18 zone. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly.
Buy a DTT StarTimes decoder for only 1,399 bob or a DTH for 3,199 shillings to enjoy unlimited entertainment. Join judges Size 8, King Kaka, Motive, hosted by Amina and Butita on Next Superstar. Renew your subscription on DTH Smart Bouquet or DTT Basic Bouquet to enjoy unlimited entertainment. StarTimes, enjoy digital life.
On the green course, for the green cause. Tee up for action against climate change and make your day count. The Standard County Golf Classic Eldoret Edition is here. Brought to you by the Standard Group in association with Eka Hotel Eldoret. On the green course, for the green cause. Saturday, 14th June 2025 at the Eldoret Club.
As a female realtor, it's quite challenging for people to even respect you, you know? So I managed to ensure that I'm gonna offer you that respect that you want, but I think I need it. And if you're not gonna show me respect, I'm not gonna deal with you. What first-time buyers need to know is they need to be careful. Because I remember in my journey of buying properties, we had like scams when it comes to plot, it comes to all these kind of things. So you just need to know your agent really well. You need to know the people you're dealing with, the company. You also need to do a search of the property you want to buy. Real estate is a very, very good investment in today's economy because you are going to make money while sleeping.
Asante sana kwa kutuazima muda wako tangu tulipoanza matangazo haya.
Kuanzia Jumapili hii, taarifa za KTN leo zinakujia kwa namna nyingine tofauti.
Tupunguze gharama ya. If we have wronged you in any way, forgive us.
Do not elevate dirt to be cleanliness. Hapa Nairobi ni kuteseka.
Hao wasanii waombe msamaha.
Una lecture mwanamuziki, una lecture mwanasiasa, una lecture kila mtu. Kwani wewe ni Mungu?
You can tell that story to the band, not to Kenyans.
Tazama taarifa za KTN leo kwa jisaa zima kila siku ya Jumapili, Jumanne na Ijumaa kila wiki. KTN leo kwa taarifa za kuaminika na za uhakika.
You are watching Farm Kenya, brought to you by Fugo.
Lea wako wakishiba na fugo utashiba na mayai shell yellow yolk. Broiler wako wakishiba na fugo utaona mazao in 35 days.
Akishiba, utashiba. Fugo layer feed, Fugo Kienyeji feed, and broiler 2-stage and 3-stage diet. Products of Unga Farm Care.
Kwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Welcome back, and we are talking about improved Kienyeji chicken. And joining us is George Kamau, who is from Unga. He is in charge of the technical and also the sales department. We are going to be talking about more about this and just getting to understand what improved Kienyeji is all about. Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
All right. So, George, let us look at improved Kienyeji, because very many people use this term. So when you talk about improved Kienyeji, how is it different from the other traditional normal chicken that we know?
Okay, from a technical perspective, this is the bird that has been bred from the local Kienyeji chicken in order to achieve faster growth rate, faster maturity, and also in terms of egg production. It performs well compared to the local Kienyeji that we have been used to. And it's because now the market demanded for that kind of a bird. Wanted a bird that will reach market maturity within 12 weeks or so. Want a bird that will lay probably from 5 to 6 months of eggs will start laying, so that now the farmer feels that he's in business. Because when we have a bird that will take a little bit longer, probably almost 7 months in order to start to lay, probably almost 6 months in order to be slaughtered, then it means we are losing in terms of business. So this bird has been bred to meet those needs for the market.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you look at, when you speak about the needs of the market, let us look at the traditional Kienyeji from the improved one.
Yes.
What is it that makes this improved one better or appealing to the markets?
We are talking about, when we're talking about the improved Kienyeji, one, it's rare to find, for example, a local Kienyeji achieving a weight of 2 kgs. For these birds, you can achieve that within that specified time. We're talking about, like I said, 12 weeks. You can easily get a bird that will lay around 2 kgs and above during that age. The other thing is also about the meat quality.
We are talking about a distinctive taste, also depending on what we feed. We are talking about the texture of the meat that will match up the local Kienyeji, and also the modes of preparation. It's easy to prepare the way you prepare them. It's more or less like the way you're going to prepare a local Kienyeji bird, with the soup, with also the spices. Basically, the way we prepare the local Kienyeji, the way people like it to be. That's how this will going to match the local Kienyeji.
Okay.
Yes.
So the taste is different.
I'll not say it's different, but it's more or less kind of the Kienyeji. The only thing that we have more, it's meatier. We have more meat mass compared to the local Kienyeji, because you're talking about when you're slaughtering it, probably a live weight of 1.8 to 2 kgs.
Okay.
Live weight. So it's difficult to achieve that kind of weight within a short period when you're talking about what we call the local Kienyeji. Because most of the local Kienyeji, at most, you get probably 1.8. That's a cock that has stayed for almost 7 to 8 months, almost a year. Then it means the older it is, also the tougher the meat will be. But this, we're talking about a very tender meat that will take less time to cook, but at the same time, give you the qualities of a Kienyeji. Yeah.
Right. Very well explained. Now, let us look at what goes into taking care of the chicken, like the ones that we have here.
Yes.
What amount of food do they need in a day? What amount of water they need in a day? Just explain to us about that.
Just like any other bird, the improved Kienyeji are usually bought. Most farmers will buy them at day old. They are day old. Then it means they do not have a hen or the mother to take care of them. So now the farmer will take that active role. First of all, we'll be talking about how you construct the house. We're talking of a house that is well ventilated. Probably we're talking about when you're doing that to be housed like any other normal bird. A compact wall of about 3 feet or a meter high, and then the rest of the height is made of wire mesh and chicken mesh. We're also talking about the spacing requirement. For the Kienyeji, we do not want to overstock them. We want to give them that freedom to express their normal behavior, their welfare. So we allow a space of at least 1.5 feet squared per bird, so that they can. That's a well stocked house, well spaced house. The bird will be able to express its normal behavior in that kind of space. At the same time, it will give you space enough for the equipment. It will allow enough ventilation and free flow of air within that house. The other aspect is, since this bird has been taken as a day-old chick, what we need to take care of it is do the brooding. Basically, brooding is a process where we are going to provide artificial heating in order to match up the body temperatures, because that young chick at that age is not able to regulate its own body temperature. So we have to provide an artificial heat into that brooder. And basically what we generally use is, we can use a jiko, we can use a gas burner, we can use electrical lamps, what we call the infrared bulbs, to provide heat for those chicks. And this process usually takes around 21 days. By that time, now the chicks will have grown. They will have grown feathers. The body will have enough mass in order to regulate its own body temperature. And then the other thing is, during this brooding, the birds are usually fed according to the stage or the production cycle in which they are. So we are talking about a chick. So for this improved Kienyeji, we as Unga, what we have what we call the Kienyeji chick mash. And the Kienyeji chick mash, we usually feed it for the first 2 weeks for those birds. And the quantity we usually give, it's the bird, each individual bird will have fed around 500 grams. We're talking about half a kg within those 2 weeks or the 14 days. Then after that, we graduate to another feed. Now we call the Kienyeji grower. So the Kienyeji grower, we feed it from the 3rd to the 4th week. Now, depending on the needs of the farmer, because this is an improved Kienyeji, it's a dual-purpose bird. We're keeping it for both meat and for eggs. So for those farmers that do meat, after the Kienyeji grower, that's between the 3rd and the 4th week, the 5th week, we introduce what we call the Kienyeji finisher mash for these birds. So for that period, the birds will be fed until they're around 10 to 12 weeks of age. And during that time, each bird would have consumed almost a kg of feed between now the 5th to the time of the cropping of the Kienyeji finisher mash. For the farmers that intend to do birds for eggs, we continue with the Kienyeji grower until these birds start laying. And now we should graduate from the Kienyeji grower after the birds have at least achieved 5% of lay. It means that if you have 100 birds and the 100 birds are all hens, it means at least you're able to get 10 eggs and above so that you can graduate into a Kienyeji layer.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move and look at the breeds, the type of breeds that we usually have.
Okay.
You can just mention them to us and just tell us what makes them different from the other, the types of breeds that we have for improved Kienyeji.
Basically, the breeds are more or less the same. It usually depends on which hatchery you are getting your chicken. We have 3 or 4 main hatcheries in Kenya that do the improved Kienyeji. And the difference in terms of the birds, it usually come in the how the birds present. Each hatchery will become like, for example, we have a multicolored bird. We have a brown bird. We also have what we call the naked neck. It means that at the neck they do not have the feathers. For the 3 major hatcheries, that's basically what you are going to find.
Okay.
It now depends on what the farmer needs. There are farmers who would prefer doing the multicolored. There are farmers who would prefer the naked necks. There are farmers who would typically want the brown birds. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you look at this Kienyeji chicken,
yes,
do you find a scenario where, because a farmer might bring them to the farm and rear them with other poultry, so is it advisable to do that? And if not, what should a farmer do?
Ideally, I see most farmers combining, especially this improved Kienyeji, with the broiler birds, because basically they will start with them, and once actually it's for convenience, raising them with the broilers, because they're going to take basically the same time to do the brooding. So after that, now the farmer will have shifted them either to what we call the free range or the semi-intensive, where at times it supplements the feeds and then lets out the birds to go and feed themselves. So depending on which production system you prefer, the ideal. What I usually say is to be up to date with what we call the vaccination schedule, such that you cannot transmit diseases from these to the other birds. The other thing is, if you're keeping them as semi-intensive, it's not advisable to mix them with the birds that are fully on intensive, simply because we are trying to minimize the cross transmission of diseases. Because the other thing is, these birds are a little bit hardier compared to the broiler, compared to the layer.
Okay.
So depending, most likely, in most cases, most farmers who do the broiler the meat bag, we usually combine these in order to diversify in terms of the chicken meat. Because there are people who would prefer to do the broiler, and people who prefer to do the Kienyeji. And that's why in most cases you'll find them doing the same birds or brooding the birds at the same time.
Okay.
However, it's not advisable to keep these birds together with the layers because these birds come with also cocks. And chances are that these cocks might even nod to the hens, and this will also reduce the lifespan or the shelf life of the eggs from the layer bird. And also the nutrient requirement for this bird are a little bit different from the layer bird.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me take you back. You had mentioned about vaccination.
Yes.
So when it comes to vaccination, let us look at the diseases that the birds are susceptible to,
yes,
and how can this be prevented? Because it's a huge space.
Yes.
You have more than maybe 300 chicken or 400.
Yes.
So when the disease comes, it goes almost to all the birds.
Yes.
So how can a farmer make sure that at the end of the day, the disease is not with all the 300 chicken that he or she has?
Okay, number one, the number one and the most effective way is to do what we call the biosecurity. Biosecurity means then that you have isolated the chicken house from high traffic of people, from other animals. It means that at the entry of any poultry house, we have what we call the food dip. Basically, we have water mixed with a disinfectant so that any other visitor that is getting into the poultry house, either the poultry man or the owner, has to do the dipping at the entrance and as he leaves. So it means he has left out all the diseases. That's number one, biosecurity. Number two is rodent control. Because anywhere we have a poultry house, we basically have rodents, the rats, because they have readily available feed.
Yes.
And also the stove for the feed. They can easily access. So number one is to make that house rodent proof. By rodent proof, we are saying we put the chicken mesh on around the house. It means that now we also do the rodenticides. We control the population of the rodents within the house, probably by putting what we call the bait station. We put the bait and the bait station within the bait station so that we control that population. And also the other important thing is also to secure the house from any wild birds, wild animals, because they're also carriers to diseases. And then thirdly, and the most important, is to do the vaccination. So vaccines, in most cases, we prevent against 4 major diseases, especially in Kienyeji. We're talking about the Newcastle disease. We're talking about Gumboro disease. We're talking about what we call, nowadays we have a very infectious disease called infectious coryza. And also we have the whole typhoid and also the fowlpox. So these are the diseases now that most of them are viral and few are bacterial. And what we do to control them is to do the vaccination. And the vaccination schedule is gotten from the hatchery. They are going to give you a routine on how, or a schedule on how you're supposed to vaccinate your birds. And in some cases, most of these vaccines can be administered through water, although there are some that needs a veterinarian to do the actual vaccination, like the salmonella, because it has to be injected, like with the coryza, it has to be injected, so that you need the services of a qualified and a registered and a retained veterinarian to do that kind of job. Yes.
Right. So let's move to the market. Let's look at the number of eggs that is expected. If a farmer gets the improved Kienyeji and they're saying, okay, so what profit am I getting? What am I looking at in terms of egg production? At the end of the year, what am I looking at? So you can give us the numbers as per maybe the size of maybe an area where we have a chicken that 200, 300, 500. You can just give us from your expertise.
So from expertise, because like I said, this breed or the improved Kienyeji is a dual purpose. So it's for both meat and both for eggs. But most breeds will find them, breeds or the birds that we get for improved are more inclined towards the meat. But at the same time, they lay. So you'll find them, they're not all that prolific layers as the commercial layer bird. So whereas in a layer bird, we're expecting somewhere between 300 to 330 eggs. For the improved, you're talking about 180 on an annual basis. So we're talking about each hen providing around 180 eggs in a year. Yeah. So in most cases, these eggs are usually sold as fertilized eggs. So they might fetch a little bit more compared to the normal table egg that we get from the commercial. So that's where the farmers might be making money from selling the fertilized eggs. At the same time, most of them will also hatch the chicks, so they'll sell them as the old chicks, or they brood the chicks and sell them. So it's more or less a value addition where the farmer will get the money from the eggs of the improved Kienyeji birds.
All right. Yes. So still on the eggs, let us look at the market in Kenya and how it looks, especially when we are looking at the fertilized eggs and these normal eggs.
Yes.
From your expertise again, when you look at the market, what do consumers really like between the fertilized one and the normal one?
Well, for a consumer who just want eggs for eating purposes, it doesn't care whether it's fertilized or unfertilized. So that market niche is a big one, because at the end of the day, when I'm consuming eggs, I don't care whether they're fertilized or not fertilized. The fertilized eggs niche is where you're selling to other farmers, or to other farmers who are doing the hatching. You might find a farmer who has probably a brooding chicken, and they want to maybe improve their flock. So they'll source the eggs from this improved Kienyeji, give it to the brooding hen so that they can hatch. And that's why now the niche is not all that big, but it still has some people who do that, who want to improve their flocks.
All right.
Yes.
So how can someone make Kienyeji farming more sustainable, or we can say eco-friendly?
Eco-friendly.
Yes. How can someone make that happen?
Okay. When we're talking about sustainability, number one, we want to have the welfare of the bird at heart. Like I said, we have to have the proper structures. We want to have a proper waste disposal, or how the litter is being managed. Sustainability also comes in terms of economics, or is it making any business sense? So it also comes in the way that we are feeding the birds. We want them to take a shorter time within the farm, especially for meat birds. Now they are sent to the market. The other thing is also sustainability and eco-friendly, also trying to avoid use of drugs, because out of negligence, most of the farmers will find them they have access to drugs. They want to give the birds, which is not a very good practice because of what we call the multiple bacterial resistance. So we want to have a proper management so that we avoid such cases.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So everyone these days is moving to the digital world.
Yes.
Everyone is using technology. Everyone is trying to do things easy.
Yes.
So when it comes to this type of farming,
yes.
Can you say that we can have maybe digital apps, we can have maybe some innovations that are coming up in order to make this type of farming more easier for the farmers?
Actually, we as Unga, we have also moved to the digital space.
Okay.
We have a smart that we call the Fugo Smart app. And the Fugo Smart app is a guideline on how you're going to raise your livestock. Once you open the app, you're going to find a space for poultry. It has also broken down the poultry categories. You have how you're going to raise the layers, the broilers, and the improved. Still on the same app, it has also given you the economic side of doing each venture. So I believe it's a space that still needs to be explored. We have taken the challenge, we are in it, and we're going to continue improving on it because it's easier for a farmer or a young farmer to just open the app, get the info. Probably what he needs more is like extension services, the technical bit. That's where now we come in on any clarification. But it's worth doing that. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So before we finish, I would just like to get your perspective and what you think the technology and the innovations that you've spoken about.
Yes.
When you look at what they're going to do in the Kienyeji farming type of industry,
yes.
What do you see in future, in the coming maybe 2 years, even 1 year, with these particular applications and innovations?
Okay, well, I believe they're going to be more. I believe they are going to be more innovative in terms of the info that they are giving. Because for us, like now, once you open the app, you're going to get how much you're going to feed each bird. At the same time, it's also give you a kind of an account of the costing bit of it, still on the same app. So you're going to realize that if I'm going to do this, then how much am I going to make? So at the end of the day, it's going to combine that bit of technical bit and the economic bit of it. So I believe not only in 1 or 2 years, I believe even in 5 years to come, 10 years to come, that will be the way to go.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And finally,
yes.
To the Kienyeji farmer at home who's watching,
yes.
and they are making sure that at least they are getting something out of it,
yes.
and some have given up.
Yes.
Maybe someone started by the first 3 months, they were like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. So what can you tell them in order to just give them an encouragement that this is possible, this is something that they can venture into?
For any farmer who has given up, or even the farmers that are doing it well,
yes,
the best thing is to know as a farmer, before venturing into Kienyeji, know your market niche. Know before I start keeping the Kienyeji bird, am I going to sell the eggs or am I going to sell the meat? After that, know your structures. Where am I going to keep the birds, and how many am I going to, in terms of the space, in terms of the structures that I'm going to put up. And then thirdly, is to know, is to get the right breeds. Because most farmers usually get the birds that have been inbred. So they lack what we call the hybrid Vega. So once that bird gets into your farm, it has stunted growth, it has high mortality, it's not feeding well. So when you meet such a farmer, you might be discouraged. But for now, what I'm encouraging them is to go for the right breed, get the right technical people, and also know their market niche before you get into the business. Otherwise, it's a very profitable venture for any farmer to get into. It doesn't require much of the space. And actually, it's one of the ventures that you can put the birds in a story house. In most cases, things like the beef cattle, the goats, it's hard to put them in a very small space. But for poultry, I believe it's the livestock for the future. Because for your space, you can go upward, even up to the sky, depending on how much birds you want to keep.
Okay.
Yes.
George, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
There you have it from George, and he's been speaking about the market aspect and how you can take care of your Kienyeji chicken. We've come to the end of this edition of Farm Kenya, and remember, every Tuesday we take you from the start into the market. Where do we start from? From the farm and also into the market and even to the plate. My name is Calvin Nyakundi. Let's meet next time, same place, right here on Farm Kenya.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Farm Kenya brought to you by Fugo.